Swung away for 6.
Oh, that has got to be, it is. Daryl Mitchell has 3.
Magnificent innings from Daryl Mitchell. Notch up his second Test match 100, appreciated by this large crowd at Lord's.
First memories of playing cricket. How did you get involved in the game?
I think for me it was probably at home with Dad and Grandy. We sit there on Boxing Day and watch cricket over summer and competing out in the backyard trying to take on the old man and the granddad.
The relationship with your father obviously centred on sport a lot. Just explain to us what your father did and what he brought home to you in terms of that focus on sport.
The old man had his own career in sport, albeit a different one, and very lucky to, I guess, experience what I experienced with him with the All Blacks and that. But also for me, he was just my dad. He'd go off to work, and instead of an office, he'd be catching a rugby ball, and then he'd come home, and I guess I gained experiences of being able to go and meet sportsmen and go to trainings and things that, I guess looking back now, I was very lucky, and a lot of people don't get the chance to. But at the same time, he was just my old man that kicked me when I needed a kick up the butt, and at the same time, both my parents were very supportive to help me, I guess, achieve my dreams.
Oh, and again. Wow, this is interesting.
You've gone from the backyard with your dad and your grandy, and you've obviously made your way into club cricket or schoolboy cricket. Explain what that club environment or school environment was like for you early days.
With Dad's job and with rugby, we travelled all around the world as kids, and we didn't spend a hell of a lot of time in each place. But for me, I was lucky enough that I went to a couple of good schools here in Hamilton, which really loved their sport, and that was, I guess, the start of cricket for me. And then I had the opportunity to finish off high school over in Perth in Australia, and to experience a different type of cricket over there again.
At that time in Perth, Daz, did that instill something in you that perhaps might not have happened had you been in New Zealand and finished high school here? Just whether that was a style of cricket or the nature of the guys you were playing against, the Trans-Tasman rivalry, that sort of carry on?
I think it definitely played a part in creating the person and the player I am now, and also had a mentor and a batting coach, Noddy Holder, who's very influential in how I guess try and play the game now and set a base of game that I try and keep to this day. So he played a massive role, but also I always wanted to come back to New Zealand. Playing for New Zealand was my dream, and I remember sitting there at high school assemblies and they're singing the Australian anthem and I refused to sing it. So I've always been a proud Kiwi, and it's something that I'm very proud to have represented New Zealand now.
When you came back to New Zealand and as you said you got the chance to represent Northern Districts, were you focused at that point on making this a career? Did you think that this could be your full-time career?
I remember getting my first contract, and it was low down the order, and at the time I thought I'd hit the jackpot. It was a pretty cool moment, and you just want to do as well as you can when you get the opportunity. I was lucky enough to play with some really good legends of the game. I mean, Dan Vittoria was there, Graham Aldridge was the old bowler trudging in, and Brent Arnell and Joe Jovich, the Marshall twins. There was Styrus. There was a lot of guys at that time that were quite influential, and it was cool just to learn off those guys. And then I guess when you add the likes of Kane, Southey, Bolt, as BJ Watling as well, it was a pretty good group to be a part of as a young kid.
Well, that's in the air. It's in the air. Mid-off getting round. Neil Wagner. And what a catch!
What kind of person are you away from the cricket field?
I think it's probably evolved over time. I'm now a father of two and a husband, and I love that side of things. I'm pretty chilled because I know as soon as I get on the cricket field, it's all on, and I'm a competitor. So, as a teenager, I was and a young aspiring athlete, I was a pretty determined thing and probably quite stubborn at times. But I think as I've got through my career and I understand that there's probably more to life than cricket, and I guess that's probably evolved into me as a person and how I try and live my life a little bit.
What's the greatest moment in Daryl Mitchell's career to date?
That's a good question. I don't really know. Test debut was very special. To get that opportunity, I probably at that stage didn't think it would ever happen. And to get that chance to be able to do it at Hamilton, where I grew up on the bank watching, was pretty special. Obviously the World Cup semi-final last year in the T20, to win that and get us through to a final was really cool, and I just love playing for New Zealand. For me it's just an honour to wear that black cap and the fern on your chest, and any time you get a chance to do that, it's pretty special.
Have you felt comfortable in international cricket? since the very first time you wore the fern. You're also one of those cricketers who seems to find moments. Things happen around you. Is that just the nature of who you are?
I wouldn't say comfortable. I think it's constantly a learning experience, but for me I'm a competitor. I want to be part of moments that help us win games of cricket, and I back myself that I'll give it my best chance to try and do that. For me, sometimes it's about puffing your chest out, putting a smile on your face and taking it head on first, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I can live with that, knowing that I've given it everything I can to try and win those moments.
Oh, it's flicked away. It's flicked away for 4. There it is, Test 100 number 1, which is so special. And this innings has been an amazing knock. Well played, well deserved. Awesome stuff, Daryl Mitchell.
You've had some great moments in Test match cricket already. One sticks out for me, Hagley Oval, and Kane Williamson sitting in the pavilion and you out in the middle.
First Test 100, it's very special, and it was nice that Kane delayed the declaration for 5 minutes there to allow me to get that. But it was cool. It was obviously moving to Canterbury 2 summers ago, and that was my first summer down in Christchurch. It was awesome to, I guess, do that at my new home ground at Hagley, and with my wife and kids there. It was pretty special.
Did you think he was going to let you get that milestone?
I was trying to swing as hard as I could to try and get there. I knew that's all I could control, so it was pretty cool. And I guess you look back now and you see the raw emotion that's on your face when that moment happens. There's a lot of hard work that goes into those moments, and it was nice to, I guess, get the job done.
What qualities do you bring to the team environment that help others as much as yourself?
I'm not really sure in terms of what I exactly bring, but for me it's just trying to make sure keep trying to get better each day, keep trying to, I guess, work really hard and try and get the most out of what I can be as a cricketer, but also just be really determined and really competitive. Keep showing up and trying to get the job done, whatever it might be, whether it's having to slog your first ball for 6 or bat for 6 hours for a draw. I just want to be part of that group and be, I guess, contributing to winning games of cricket for our country, and I'm going to do that with a smile on my face and an attitude that will never say die.
If you could give 14-year-old Daryl Mitchell a piece of advice, what would it be?
It's probably 2 things. Watch the ball first. The amount of times I've got out when I haven't watched the ball properly, I reckon that's a major one. And then the other one is, I guess, don't worry about failure. It's part of the game. It's part of who we are as humans, but understand that it's happened for a reason, and that in the long run it all pays off.
You think about those moments that you've already had, your Test debut, your first Test 100, but you've also scored runs for fun in one-day cricket and T20, all 3 formats for your country. A lot of that's been done with your partner and kids standing by watching or being on tour with you. What's it like to see your family and know that they're there with you at the ground? Yeah,
it's obviously pretty cool. I was lucky enough to have them in England for that Test series that's just been, and to have them experience Lords, Headingley, Trent Bridge. It's pretty cool that they'll be able to look back. They're obviously very little and they might not remember parts of it, but we've got a few photos of watching the Frozen movie at 6 a.m. before you go out to bat that morning, and little things, I guess, that people don't realise that for us it's really cool. I remember as a kid going to Dad's games and being part of that, and now for Addie and Lily to experience that, it's very cool. And I'm sure as they grow up and grow older, they might understand how it worked to try and get a Test 100 at Lords.
You proud of yourself?
It's been a good run so far. I've got a lot more I want to achieve in this game, and I'm a type of guy I don't look too far ahead and don't really try and look too far back either. It's trying to stay as present as we can, but at the same time very grateful for the opportunities that I've had so far.